Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, Mr. Washington, you've been nominated for a very tough job, and I just want to thank you for your willingness to take on this responsibility. Certainly, you have the experience, the qualifications, and may I say the leadership qualities necessary to lead the FAA during a very challenging time. So, thank you for your willingness to take on this very difficult task. Mr. Washington, I've long advocated for the FAA to transition away from the use of toxic PFAS containing firefighting foams. And in fact, in the 2018 FAA reauthorization, I led the adoption of language that directed the FAA to no longer require the use of these foams at Part 139 airports. Last year, President Biden signed into law my legislation entitled Preventing PFAS Runoff at Airports Act, which allows airports to purchase the equipment they need to test their firefighting response without discharging toxic PFAS chemicals. Michigan airports continue to lead the way on this issue, but they need a strong partner in the FAA to fully transition away from the use of PFAS and protect our communities from further contamination. As an airport CEO, I know you have firsthand experience when it comes to PFAS at airports, and I would just like to know, if confirmed, how will that experience shape your approach to ending these substances in aviation?
Well, thank you for the question, Senator. I agree, this is an important issue. At Denver, we started our own cleanup, a voluntary cleanup. We've already started that. Now, I know not everyone can do that, but we wanted to start for the benefit of everyone at our airport, including our employees. My understanding is that the new performance requirements for the firefighting foam was issued earlier this year by DOD. We would work with DOD, and I think that if confirmed, I would have a special relationship with the Department of Defense as a veteran. But we would work to develop a transition plan around PFAS. There are a number of airports that are doing this very well. And so, you know, perhaps there is sort of a peer-to-peer exchange that can occur while we're waiting on that alternative as well. And so I would bring what we're doing at Denver and scale that up because I think we are addressing the PFAS problem probably better than most airports around the country.
Right, right. Last week, I asked Acting Administrator Nolan about improving FAA's effort to integrate unmanned aerial systems into our national airspace. Communities in my state of Michigan are looking to take advantage of this cutting-edge technology and a lot of economic opportunity that will result from that. However, there are major barriers to adoption, including slow implementation of the provisions that my colleagues and I passed in the 2018 reauthorization bill. So my question for you, sir, is if confirmed, will you commit to prioritizing efforts to ensure that the U.S. maintains global leadership in advanced aviation, particularly unmanned aerial systems?
Thank you for the question, Senator. Absolutely. Absolutely, and that gets to what I think is the slow pace of rulemaking as well. One of my priorities is to streamline internally, to start with, internal to FAA, to streamline the rulemaking process. And so absolutely, I agree that we need to move on this. I agree that we need to understand and keep pace with industry on unmanned aerial systems. I will do that as administrator.
Great. Well, thank you. I chair the Homeland Security and Government Affairs Committee here in the Senate, and one of my priorities is to ensure that airports have the tools to counter those who may use UAS as a threat and as a domestic security risk. The FAA has been a partner in working to understand how these systems affect our airspace and transportation. But we're going to need to work together to protect our critical infrastructure from these threats. UAS have a lot of opportunities, but they also present serious threats to airspace and critical infrastructure as well, as you know. So my last question is, if confirmed, will you commit to work with me to ensure that there is robust interagency coordination to counter UAS efforts?
Thank you for the question, Senator. Absolutely. I think I know the Biden administration proposed legislation to expand authorities is out there. FAA has been a partner with that, and I will continue that path.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Senator.